Hola, kids.
Howdy.
¿Cómo está? Let me pull up a seat here. Tapped in for the real thing. With the mic, hopefully that's not screwing everyone up.
Sounds like a chewing microphone.
Oh, I took a drink of that. Okay,
all right.
Here we go. And let me save this share it real quick. Oh my gosh. Wow, this is going to be a great cold open here. Where are we going? What are we doing? Come on, Ethel. We're almost there. Sorry, kids. I hope everyone had a wonderful Thursday. We're, as soon as I can get this thing to work, then we will be... Hey, there we are, right there, Wes.
Fantastic.
And... Whoop. There he is. Okay, here we go. Now
All aboard.
Bring it up. Let's see if I can get the comments on. Ready to rock and roll. You ready?
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is the Four Fathers podcast. I am your host, Will, joined as always by my good friend Wes.
Right here I am.
He's to my left. We are in the glorious Pacific Northwest sunshine this fine evening. Hope everyone had a wonderful Thursday. Looking forward to a great Memorial Day weekend in approximately, we're not even 24 hours.
Yeah,
we are 22 hours away.
Absolutely.
Let's start with something that we always start with, which is a good thing that happened to you since we broadcast on Monday for our serious show. But tonight, Four Fathers, it's not that serious. So what you got for me?
Is that we're one game closer to the end of Little League season? So
oh, you're counting the counting the days, huh?
It's not going to be as hectic in a little while here. So yeah, had another game tonight. Went well. Played a whopping 2 innings instead of the usual 3.
Yeah, so. What's up with that? I mean,
yeah, they didn't consult with me beforehand, but I signed off on it anyway. So.
Was it a sun shortened?
It may have been. Event? It may have been a weather issue.
Okay, what was
too much brightness?
What was Annabelle's line today? Her stat line.
She smoked a good single in her first at bat, and in the second inning she had a little trouble, a couple of whiffs, and before she connected.
Yeah,
but yeah,
she did T-ball, right?
Yeah, we're T-ball. Yeah,
very nice, very nice.
She's doing good.
That's always fun. We've been knee deep in baseball as well. My good thing is actually along the same lines, but I love baseball. I love Derek playing and all the fun stuff that we get to do. But that being said, we got notification that we're not playing in a tournament this weekend. Because of that, I had to take the opportunity to go camping. Haven't been camping in a couple of years. Very, very much looking forward to this. Heading up in the woods for a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Saturday, I don't know how I did it, but I lucked in to a camp spot. Every day I was checking. I'd go online, check to see any campground around here. Right. It didn't matter, anywhere from 2 hours north, east, south, all over. Nothing. Of course, it's Memorial Day weekend, right? Well, lo and behold, I'm on recreation.gov, which handles all of the national park or the state park, or not state parks, the
national park,
National Forest Service.
That's right.
Parks.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, but I got incredibly lucky because the other day, a site all of a sudden popped up, and it was a walk-up site.
Oh, weird.
In fact, today and tomorrow, it's a walk-up site, but on Saturday, boom, I got a reservation.
Whoa.
I don't know how. I don't know if they released them or what, but otherwise, we were going to have to just take a risk and drive up there. But between the 3 big campgrounds up there out of Carson, they've got about 50 walk-up sites. So I had a feeling that we were going to be able to find something, but it's actually kind of nice that we're going to go up on Saturday morning, have an opportunity to get everything together, not scurry around tomorrow, all that, because Brandon's got to work and whatnot. So anyway, that is going to be a kick in the pants. Get out there, even though the weather kind of seems like it's not supposed to be too nice tomorrow, though.
Yeah.
But in honor of Memorial Day weekend and why we celebrate that wonderful holiday, because of our service members so wonderfully sacrificed their time, their lives, some of them, and all that. We're going to raise a glass to them tonight.
Yeah.
Wes has got the Miller Lite can, the old school Miller Lite. I was going to have a Moscow Mule, but lo and behold, I was out of limes. No limes means no Moscow Mules for myself. So I luckily a few weeks ago bought this strawberry lemonade thing, and I was like, hey, I haven't drank that yet, even though I have dirt in it. So I jumped in, and now I'm enjoying that.
Very good.
One cocktail only, didn't too crazy with the cheese but it's been an eventful day. So I was very thankful to be able to enjoy that. You have any big plans this weekend?
No, I don't think we do.
No?
We're going to go upgrade the old phones.
Oh, you are?
On Saturday, yeah.
Very nice. What are we upgrading
to? What is it? It's the new one out now. The 10R?
Well, there's the XR, and the XS.
Yeah, the R. We're doing the R.
Okay, I would go back and forth between the R and the 10, because the 10 is actually, it's cheaper, but B, it's on par a little bit better than even the new ones that they released. Okay. So I would look at that. I did a comparison between all three of them, and the X was, for the amount of money, how much less it was on par, if not better. Oh, your Colorado weather, Jason, was it pretty darn nice down there? Get this.
There was snow at Coors Field a couple days ago.
Was it really?
Yeah, I think it was yesterday or the day before. I think I saw that on MLB.
Well, very nice. So it is that time of year that we get into camping, and camping is a big part of my life. It's becoming a part of your life, a bigger part. You're not full, but we've got some trips planned this summer and all that kind of good stuff.
It'll get easier as time goes on. The kids get a little older. They can kind of maintain themselves, and
kind of what I was going to bring up was what it's like to, as you, I guess for lack of a better word, age, and from having little ones to growing up, the difficulties with camping with the short people. It can be a trying time, to say the least, but it can be fun. Now, you do the tent camping, right? We spent many a year in the tents, and I've got to say, we paid our due. And so we went, and we don't have anything fancy. It's an old trailer, but just to be able to jump into, basically, you know what it is? It's a rolling queen size bed. Yeah, that's what it is. Because otherwise, we don't really go into it. When you go camping, what are some of the things that you're looking for the kids to do, for yourself to do? What is it that you enjoy when you go out and hit the great wilderness?
Well, last time we went camping was a couple years ago, so Alton was too young to really soak it all in. He was just starting to crawl, which is its own little challenge at a campground. You got a kid that's trying to crawl around. That's no bueno. But Annabelle was really digging the old scavenger hunts.
Oh, yes.
So we printed off a whole bunch of scavenger hunt lists before we went.
Where did you go?
Timberlake Park.
Where's that?
We did. That was I guess Timberlake was 2 years ago, and Battleground was last year.
Yeah, Battleground was last year.
I skipped that one. It's up past Stevenson, Carson. It's up the gorge.
Oh, okay.
Really nice campground. So we did the tent camping there, but then Battleground Lake last year we did a cabin.
Oh, okay.
So that was a little easier going there. So.
That is much easier. Now, one of the highlights of camping is the food. We are. I would venture to say we almost are more outrageous when we camp than when we're home, and we get kind of down with cooking at home. But I know you've not had a pudgy pie, and everyone out there, if you're watching or listening, when we release the podcast, pudgy pies are absolutely one of the greatest, and I'm spiking the camera right now because I've got to really get you guys to understand just how good pudgy pies are. Now, I've explained what they are to you, but for everyone out there in podcast land and Facebook and all that kind of stuff, Pudgy pies, so you'll see at Bimart or whatever wonderful Bronx. Jeez Louise, you almost killed us. Lay down. Pudgy pies, you have these things called pie irons, and they are cast iron. They're about a little bit smaller than a slice of Wonder Bread. And you put, you know, just like cast iron, anything else, you butter them up, you got to oil them and things like that, and then you lay 2 pieces of bread, you open it up, 2 pieces of bread on each side, and then the world is your oyster.
So it's like the old school waffle iron where then you close it up kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What you do is it kind of hooks together, you smash it. So you put in, you've got your pizza ones, you've got your peanut butter and jelly, and then you can get, you know, crazy with the Nutella and peanut butter. You can do all kinds of things, but the key is that once you've got the butter and all that, when you put that bad boy in the fire, it makes it all, as long as you don't overcook it, it makes it all golden brown and crunchy, and it's kind of like a hot pocket at camping.
So does it seal it up around the edges?
Yes.
Okay.
So what happens is now they actually have bigger ones that are almost like double size, but the normal size ones, like I said, they're just a hair smaller than the size of a piece of Wonder Bread.
So it crimps the edges down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you close it, you'll see the bread on the outside of it, and then when you cook it, that will burn and crisp up. So you just knock it off.
Right.
And Bronx, sit down, lay down, you goofball. So you'll have that. One thing when you guys have these bad boys, when you go camping the next time, like I said, just go down to Bimart, Sportsman's, wherever they're called pie irons, and they are probably, I don't know, $15, something like that, not crazy. But when you take these bad boys out of the fire, they are nuclear hot. They came straight out of the meltdown core of Chernobyl. And so be very careful of that. But if I have to give a recommendation on which ones are the best, I would go with the pizza one. Just a little pizza sauce, mozzarella, is that how you say it?
Something like that,
mozzarella.
Yeah, works for me.
And then, you know, pineapple, well, you could do that if you want to do
Canadian bacon pineapple?
Yeah. But you got your, you know, salami or pepperoni, whatever, and cheese, or I said mozzarella. And, but then the dessert ones. See, the problem is that you have one and they kind of are really hard to stop.
So if you hit it with like a Nutella and some marshmallow cream in there?
Oh, man.
That kind of deal?
Go after it.
Yeah?
Go. You've got to do it. And we have a trip planned later on this year, and I actually don't know what our cell phone situation is up there, but we may have to do some kind of camp show because I think that would be a kick in the pants.
Yeah, it was. I'm trying to think what it was. There was no. Yeah, I don't think I could do anything internet-wise up there, so it might be dicey.
Yeah, we'll
might
see.
have to record
we can
it
record it.
Yeah,
absolutely. So we're also doing a wonderful new recipe that we got called campfire nachos, and I guess these are nachos that you make in a cast iron in your what's the big Dutch oven.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the word I'm looking for, Dutch oven. So those are. I hope they're going to be amazing, and we're doing portobello mushroom pizzas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we'll do the big portobellos and make little personal pizzas out of those. And we're doing burgers and stuff like that, but my favorite thing is my breakfast. I haven't been able to do my big breakfast because I've got my great big flat iron.
Yeah.
I'm out there with all my spatulas, and it's joyous. Make a little gravy, a little sausage.
I can't wait to start meal planning for when we go in September.
Oh yeah, I'm
fired up about this.
It is going to be absolutely incredible. So, with that being said, we've been in the midst of some basketball lately, and we kind of touched on it lightly on Monday's show. But my Portland Trail Blazers are now out of it, leaving the. I would arguably say, and the reason I bring this up again is I wanted to talk about whether you think that Golden State is one of the top teams in history.
Like dynasty-wise?
Dynasty-wise.
Taking it with the Bulls, with Jordan and
Yep.
Pippen and the boys? Ah, boy. I don't know if they're quite there to the Bulls level yet.
Are you sure?
They're getting close. I would, yeah, I mean, they're in the conversation. I don't know if I'd go quite as far as Bulls level yet.
I actually think, and having... You know, we grew up with the Bulls. We grew up with Michael Jordan, and save for the 2 years he played baseball / got kicked out of the league for gambling, allegedly. Yes, they had the 72-win team, but the style of play back then was just a hack city. That's all they did was beat each other up. Just to, you imagine what Jordan would have done. So with that being said, I don't know, though, that I've ever seen more pure shooters on a team that can actually defend as well, because we've had the running guns, we've had the Steve Nash teams that can put up 140 points and would lose because the other team scored 141. These guys can actually play defense, as we saw against Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum.
Now, side tangent on that, did I hear today them talking about Durant may not make it back?
This for the finals?
Right.
Yeah, they've been pushing him back, and honestly, I think it might be because they know that they're playing so well that they don't actually have to have him on the court.
Right.
So I'm 50-50 on whether I would bring him back, because the way they dispatched the Trailblazers, a team that had leads in all 4 games, I believe.
A couple of them quite substantial.
Well, it was 15, 17, and 18 in the last 3 games. How do you let that? And I understand that, well, except in game 4, they were up by like 12 or 14, and with not much time left in the third quarter.
Right, exactly. I remember watching that thinking they got this one made. Then I thought, oh, wait a minute, they blew it the last couple of times, so maybe they'll blow it again here. And sure enough, I'm like, you got to be kidding me! It's happening again.
I know. I was incredibly disappointed. But that being said, Steph Curry is absolutely a treasure to watch, because he is so pure at shooting the ball. I'm going to, I know that we can get all kinds of crazy talking about the GOAT and all that stuff, but I think he's definitely in the top 10 NBA players of all time.
Yeah, I would say, I don't know.
Possibly top 5.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go that far. Top 10, definitely. I can see that.
Top 5, we got Jordan, we got Wilt.
Magic.
I don't know. Bird's up there.
Yeah.
You can't forget Bill Russell. You can't forget, actually, I don't know if I wouldn't put Jerry West in there as well.
Maybe
that's
Kareem. I don't know if you go Kareem. Maybe top 10, not top 5. I don't know.
That skyhook was absolutely unstoppable.
Yeah.
I don't know, but either way, we haven't even talked about Durant, who is, as I've said before, arguably the best player in the league on earth. Mm-hmm. You got Giannis and all that. Let's switch over to the Eastern Conference. I don't know. Have you been watching much of that game?
I watched game
much of that
2. Or that is to say, I watched like half of game 2.
Yeah.
But that was about it. So I've been paying close attention.
I watched games 3 and 4. I did not watch games 1 and 2, but I think this one's going 7.
It seems to be pretty evenly matched here.
They're very evenly matched, and I think that because the Bucks have home court advantage, I really think that they're going to take it. But I think it is going to go 7. But they're going to beat the hell out of each other, and they're going to. You can't count out Kawhi though.
Yeah,
Kawhi is pretty dang incredible.
So then, you bring up the interesting topic is that they go 7, they're going to beat each other up. Mm-hmm. Golden State is going to be nice and well rested.
Yeah, 10 day
but
break.
At what point does the rust set in?
I don't know that this team... Are you a little
rusty coming out of the gate?
I don't know that they're a rusty team. They went to... How many games did they play against... they played 7 games against the Rockets.
Right.
And the Rockets, that was just a bad draw for them.
Yeah.
I think that if the Blazers would have drawn the Rockets, that would have gone 7, but I think they could have handled it. They were no match for Golden State. Do you want to see Durant go or leave?
I don't know. Do you think they can afford to keep him?
Oh, I think that when you're collecting championships, guys don't put. They make
True.
So much money on other things.
Oh, yeah, the endorsements and
shoe
deals. And
they don't need.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is how big these contracts are. Look at Steph. He's making $35 million or $40 million or something.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you now. The whole rumblings with offering Lillard a supermax. Mm-hmm. And Pippen coming out and saying, don't do it. Did you see that? Scottie Pippen came out and said that'd be a bad idea to give Lillard a supermax.
Why? What was his justification?
They think he's too too unproven and it's too soon to dive into something major like that kind of thing.
What else does he have to prove?
That he cannot choke it in the playoffs when the crunch time happens?
I don't know that that's so much of him as a result of the rest of the team. He's the focal point of every defense.
Well, yeah. Was it, I don't know if it was game 3 or 4, but I looked at the box score during the game on my phone. I don't know if it was halftime-ish, somewhere in there, but Lillard was 3 for 17.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous.
He also had, he had separated ribs, which will definitely impact your shot. I mean, I don't care who you are, and he's a tough guy. He's not going to use or make any excuses, anything like that. That being said, he was hurt, and if you're trying to pull up and shoot threes or drive to the basket, that's a really tough thing to do when you're hurting like that.
Yeah. I just don't. To me, I don't know. I don't see him warranting a supermax. I mean, somebody like a Durant, yes. Steph, yes. Those huge names. I just don't put Lillard in the same class as those guys, and therefore not deserving of a supermax. I don't know. I just don't see him
He's
quite there.
He's a first-team All-NBA, though.
I mean, second team.
No, he was first team this year.
Okay.
And, I mean, he has a hell of a track record. I don't know that – I think that Nurkic going down hurt the team significantly. And Cantor is good, but he is not as good as Nurk.
Is Nurkic under contract for next season? Because Cantor can walk now. I think Cantor's free agent, right?
Yeah. But I bet you he resigns as well.
Okay.
But we need that. I mean, Nurkic is rather injury prone, as all guys that are 7
Yeah, they're big monsters.
Yeah. So it's, I don't know, it's one of those things that I really like the nucleus of the team. Evan Turner is...
Ooh.
Oh, man, I have a really, really love-hate relationship with him.
For a guy that doesn't, he's more of a role player, and he doesn't put up a whole bunch of numbers per game. He's making a lot of money for not doing much. Yeah. He's got a big contract.
He does.
That was that's surprising to me.
But I'll say that, he's a good facilitator. Dame and CJ really like playing with him, and he's got a good handle, but his shot is so inconsistent. He is incredibly streaky. So I know he's a really good locker room guy, which is a definite bonus. You need that kind of thing.
What's McCollum's contract situation? I think that dude's kind of underrated.
Oh, yeah, CJ is. And that's the beauty of that backcourt is that you've got, when one guy gets shut down, typically the other one, and that's what you saw in the playoffs. Yeah. Even in the Denver series, you saw CJ step up and hit the big shots when needed.
What was up with Myers Leonard?
Oh, that guy went off.
What was that about? Holy cow, where'd that come from?
The kid stepped up, and he really needed to, because he can be really streaky. And I think a lot of it has to do, as I've read some stories or interviews of him, is that, it's all about confidence. And he has not had the best confidence, and because of that, that's what happens. And he was hitting threes in game 4. I mean, what did he hit? 4 or 5?
Yeah,
I mean, he had 30 points or something like that.
And I guess one of the highlights, it's kind of a sad highlight, but it was just so funny, is the Zach Collins little debacle that I told you about. I don't know if you were watching when that happened. When he's celebrating and he's pounding his chest for making that dunk, and he's got his back to the fast break coming right by him, and that blows by. It's kind of a bad look, but I thought that was kind of humorous.
But those guys the more time they get, the more they grow. Yeah. Collins is only 21. Myers is only 24, I think. Something like that. And he was a lottery pick.
I said, where did he come from?
I want to say like Illinois or something. He's originally from Virginia. I can't remember what school he played for, but for some reason Illinois sticks out in my head. Not that Illinois has much of a basketball program. But speaking of games, Game of Thrones ended. I don't know about you, but I am incredibly thankful because my Twitter timeline is so jammed up with Game of Thrones remarks, comments, whatever it might be. I am so happy to see that, and I don't watch it.
No, I never saw one.
I don't need to watch it now, though.
Yeah.
After Twitter, I know exactly what happened.
I thought it was really funny. There was a great meme.
You got a bug on you. It's gone.
There was a great meme circulating around talking about how, people who didn't watch Game of Thrones always got picked on by the Game of Thrones crowd, and then now come at the very end, those people that love Game of Thrones were complaining about the ending. And so now it's like, okay, I didn't miss anything then.
No.
If it was such a great series and it went out with a big flop like that, then oh well.
Well, from the sounds of it, there were, 8 seasons?
I think that's right.
I do believe it was 8 seasons. And everything that I heard was that season 8 was a complete disaster. Now, I've probably seen 10 episodes in my time. Something like that, because Kim has watched it. But Brandon and I were going to ramp up and binge it, but after seeing the level of disappointment that people have had on Twitter and the fact that I know what happens now, and watching everyone melt down, I will say that was a little schadenfreude, but I just was like, this is ridiculous.
The other interesting aspect that was brought up was that now that it's over, is HBO's subscribership going to plummet?
Absolutely.
People canceling right and left now because that's all they were buying into HBO for?
Well, Showtime has got Billions, which I want to watch that. That is supposed to be really good. But, I mean, HBO, that was a linchpin to their what do you call that? Their subscribership.
Yes,
so
definitely.
We'll see. I mean, that was all the memes that were coming out on Monday was, here's how to get rid of your HBO membership and all their subscription and all that kind of stuff. Do you have? Well, obviously, probably not. But
no.
I don't know. I still may buckle down and watch it because the cinematography's good. 7.5 seasons of it sound like they were decent, but the ending is what everyone was. And there was a smattering of people. Oh, I thought it was good, stuff like that, but I don't know. I don't know if it's worth the, what is it, $10 a month for HBO Go or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's somewhere in that neighborhood.
I guess you could,
like a Netflix, comparable to Netflix.
Yeah,
deal, so.
And they've got other stuff, but I don't know.
We should get like a bonus for this product placement right here.
Right?
You see that? Look at that.
I know.
Logo
that's very
front
good.
and
Is that empty already?
Yeah, it's number 2. It's gone.
Well, then open a third.
No, I only brought 2. That's it.
Oh, geez. You brought a whole cooler for 2 beers?
I had to fit ice in there, too.
You want another one? I got
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Good to go.
It's the barbecue time. Or time to talk barbecue. Tonight, we're going to talk ribs.
Ooh, yeah.
You like ribs?
I do. I've never attempted them.
What?
Grill. I mean, oven I've done it, but I've never done grill, smoker, that kind of deal before. So, I mean, I'm all about attempting that at some point, but you have not yet.
Definitely need to do that. Although, we both got the tri-tip this week at Costco.
Yep.
And for everyone that is listening or watching, if you're in our area here in Southwest Washington, Costco had prime grade tri-tip on sale somewhere around $10.49. It was $10.49 a pound.
Yeah.
Unbelievably high quality meat. Yeah. And most people don't know that prime grade meat, only 3% of that hits the actual marketplace for the public to eat or to purchase. The rest of it goes to all your high-end restaurants and things like that. Now, I can see with the tri-tip, that's probably not quite as
high demand.
Yeah, high demand at the big restaurants. Although, I mean,
there's nothing wrong with it.
I would put it up there with a good steak.
Yep.
It really is, and it's a very, in my opinion, underrated.
Yeah.
Underrated cut of meat. But we'll get back to the ribs. So, when it comes to ribs, what is your favorite? Are you like baby backs, St. Louis, or short ribs?
I go baby backs, and I'm a dry rub guy, as opposed to making them all saucy and messy everywhere. Which it's not a bad thing. I mean, I don't mind it either way, but I'm more of a dry rub.
So the way I kind of go a little bit of both. So in a perfect world, I get the nice big baby back rib 3-packs at Costco. Costco's usually going to have the best deal for everyone out there, or Cash and Carry has relatively close in price, but for some reason I just think the ribs at Costco are a little bit meatier. On the back of them, we're going to talk preparation now. On the back of them, they have what's called the silver skin. All you need to do is take a paper towel, wet it down a little bit, and you can peel that. Just score it with a knife real quick, and you'll pick up an edge, and you can pull back that silver skin. Take that off. You don't have to if you don't want to. Sometimes some of the racks will get really hard to peel off. It's not a deal killer or anything like that, but I do recommend doing that. For unlike brisket that we've talked about, ribs I like to do a little bit more. I like to do a little bit more seasoning. So a little bit more than the salt and pepper. Get into a little bit of like smoked paprika, some garlic powder, things like that. When you've done them, what have you gone with? Have you used a rub that you purchased? Or
No, a homemade rub. There's like a generic like pork dry rub that I've used, and that's the same one I use on the pork belly burn ends and that kind of stuff. It's just your usual suspects: the garlic powder, onion powder, some paprika, cayenne, brown sugar, the whole gambit. Just the whole nice little orange mixture of dry rub.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I like to get a little garlic powder in there and use that as kind of my base, and then from there you can make it whatever you want. If you like, I wouldn't go lemon pepper. Ribs and lemon pepper don't really work, but in barbecue we have three things, the 3 C's we call them, that we don't want to include in recipes. That's cumin, coriander, and cayenne.
You love your cumin.
No, that isn't even my rule. That's kind of a competition barbecue rule, and that's because those 3 flavors are so pungent that they will overwhelm anything else that you have in there. So we're going to clear off our racks of ribs, and we're going to rub them down with our rub. And if you want to just go salt, pepper, garlic powder, that's great as well. I mean, simplicity, there's nothing wrong with it. Now, when it comes to the actual cooking of the ribs, I am a fan of, like I've talked about or I've written about on articles on KCP or KineticChaos.com, is I like to bring my fire up high to put the meat in. And that's because whenever you're cooking meat, if you can get the temperature up for a little bit, it opens the pores up on the meat, and they'll accept the flavor of the rub that you put on it, and it will take that smoke in pretty well. Ribs aren't something you're going to cook for 12 hours, 10 hours, even 8 hours. I'm a 4-hour max guy on my ribs. That's far or more than enough time to cook, or it should be. Now, there is a misnomer out there that your meat should fall off the bone. That is absolutely incorrect. It should pull clean from the bone, but it should not fall off. If it falls off, that means that it is probably overdone. So what I'll do, 250 to 260 is the prime cooking temperature for ribs, in my opinion. I go ribs flat out on the smoker, and like I said, heat high, 15 minutes, then shut it down. Now, if you've got an electric smoker, Traeger, all that kind of stuff, that's easy squeezy. If you have a wood smoker like I do, you just shut your dampers down. But I want to be like at 400 for 15 minutes and then shut it down. Go for 2 hours. If you're so inclined, go with the apple juice like we've talked about in the past. Half apple juice, half water in a spray bottle, and at about 2.5 hours, spray that bad boy down. But you don't have to with ribs. They will, every time you open that door on the cooker, that will affect your cook time. So kind of limit that. You don't have as much time, when you're not dealing with a 12 or a 16-hour smoke.
Doing that with the pork butt, getting the apple juice
now with
spritz on the pork butt.
Yep,
yeah,
absolutely.
That's good stuff.
So, you were talking about a little bit earlier, the fact that you like dry rub ribs. We're not going saucy out of the smoker.
Right.
What I will do on occasion is I will hit them with honey at the end. So same idea at the end, bring our temperature up, get those juices flowing, give it a little bark on the outside of the ribs, and if you put that honey on there, that glazes it wonderfully. If you don't like honey, that's fine. If you just want them straight off the smoker with the dry rub on them, that's great. Then you can dip them in sauce, so be it.
Yeah.
There are people that will wrap them in foil to get that steam effect. I kind of look at that as if it's a little bit kind of like parboiling.
Yeah.
And parboiling in the world of barbecue is a huge no-no. Stay away from the parboil. And if for those that don't know, parboiling is where you take ribs or any other meat and you boil it for a specific period of time before you put it on the smoker. It's a way to quicken your pace
a little bit. Yeah,
you're cheating, but you're not getting that full experience that you really want when you're smoking these. We're not out here smoking because we have to or something that we're just trying to hurry up. We enjoy this. It's a process. It's fun. And so, when you've got your wood. Now let's talk wood real quick. If you're anything with pork, apple is good.
That's what I go to.
Cherry is good. Oak is a good all-around smoke, but I would go towards the fruits. Peach is good. If you go to Sportsman's, they have the big chunk of or chunk smoking wood. You can get pellets, whatever it might, the chips, whatever it might be. But use the fruit woods. Cherry's good as well. They're light. They're not overwhelming when they get into the meat.
Now, I don't know if it's just maybe the batch of wood that I got, because I've got the chips and all different woods, and I've used apple and cherry extensively on different stuff, and to me it seems like I get a lot more physical smoke out of the apple than the cherry. The cherry doesn't smoke as much for me for some reason. I don't know if it's if I'm smoking at too low of a temperature, combustion wise, if the cherry needs a little higher combustion temperature before it starts cranking out the smoke. But I would say, I don't know, I get close to double the smoke coming out when I'm using apple as I do cherry.
That is, I've never heard of that or seen that. That's, we all have different experiences, right, I guess, but you are using, you're using real wood, so I don't know why that would be.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Well, let's get back to kind of finalizing the ribs to get them ready to serve. If you don't want to get into the honey, if you do like a little sauce, though, I make my own sauces. Don't go anything that's super smoky or super spicy. In my opinion, I make a three berry sauce that's very, very sweet. Yeah. And when I do ribs, I'll actually brush that on. About 10 minutes left to cook. It is so sweet, though, that I can't go more than 10 minutes because it will burn.
Yeah.
It's got
so much sugar in there.
It has like 7 or 8 times as much sugar as my original barbecue sauce. It's got 3 or 4 different kinds of sugar. So, yeah, it's very, very sweet. But it's got a little kick to it as well. But it's really good stuff. So, if whatever you want to do, whether it's the honey or barbecue sauce, do that the last 10, maybe 15 minutes, just so that does not burn. It just gets a nice little crust on it. Take them off. All of your meat, I will continue to beat this into everyone's head. Let it sit for a minute. Don't just take it off the grill and start cutting away. Let that bad boy, let the juices redistribute. Let them get back to their home.
As you would with any meat.
Exactly, and you'll hear me say that after every time I cook. Whenever we're cooking something, it's very important that you let that meat rest so that it can. And we're talking 10 minutes is what I would really hope that you can do. If you can bring it up to the 400 temperature at the end, let those juices get to moving. Then hit it with a little foil. Let it sit for 10 minutes. It's not going to get cold, anything like that. It will be wonderful. So then take your nice, very sharp knife, and I flip them over. That's the one thing, though, is if you sauce them on the grill and you need to cut them up, the sauce can get messy. And especially if you turn them over, because you've got, they're kind of a half moon or something like that. It's much easier to see the bones, to cut them from the back, but then all your barbecue sauce and whatnot falls off. Right. So that is baby back ribs. But you also have... you've got your St. Louis style ribs, which are great. They're just spare ribs with a spare rib kind of looks like I guess Africa a little bit.
Yeah.
It kind of goes out and then comes down. There's a piece of meat on one of the sides that they trim off, and St. Louis style ribs will kind of look like baby back ribs, but they're actually St. Louis, which comes from the spare. And then you've also got your country style ribs or your short ribs, which are the kind of ones that they don't have bones; they're boneless. Mm-hmm. So those are good as well. My dad does a recipe for those that are phenomenal.
Now, are you a fan of beef ribs?
Yeah, beef ribs are good. I don't. Beef ribs typically tend to be a little leaner.
Yeah.
They don't have quite as much meat on them. But that being said, you have the flavor of beef. So I don't have the same philosophy with beef ribs as I do with pork ribs. Whether you use Montreal, whether you use salt and pepper, doesn't matter. You'll smoke them for a while. But I like to cook them on high at the end quite a bit because you get that kind of like steak, if you will, something like that at the end. It's that flavor. So I do like beef ribs a lot, but they're a different experience than pork ribs.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of them?
Yeah, I do. I like them a lot. Yeah.
When's the last time you made ribs?
Ooh, wow. Probably back in our condo.
Really?
Probably not since we've been in this house. I know.
Wow. Yeah. I just have some sitting in my freezer just hanging out. I had extras.
It's been a while. It's been quite a while.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I think that you should change that.
Yeah, I think so.
You should make ribs right away. Although, you're doing the...
I got tri-tip on tap for Sunday now. I'm thinking because Saturday's supposed to be kind of bad weather, but I'm going to do my first attempt at smoking tri-tip because I've had it in several different restaurants and it's always been great. Mm-hmm. So I thought, what the heck, I'll give it a whirl. So I'm going to go over hickory with the tri-tip. I think I use hickory with that. Mm-hmm. And
it's a really short cook on the tri-tip. It's high heat. It's just like steak. Yeah. That's how I cook.
Well, the thing,
but you're going to smoke it.
I read a couple different blogs, and they both one recommended a different finishing technique, which I'm going to use, but the main smoking technique was the same. Is go at 225 for 2 hours.
Okay.
And then one of them, I forget what the first.
How many pounds was their tri-tip that they were using?
Oh, man.
Because tri-tips can vary. These are about 1.5 pounds.
Was it 2? May have been 1.5 pounds or 2, somewhere in that vicinity. But then they recommended cranking they said either do a cast iron skillet in the oven or on the stove or your grill. Is after 2 hours, taking the tri-tip out of the smoker and slapping it on either like a smoking hot grill or cast iron for like 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes per side, just to get a nice crust on there. Absolutely. And then you're done. Yep. Yeah. So I'm going to try that. I've got a gas grill right next to my smoker, so I figure with like 5 minutes to go on the smoke, I'll crank up the gas grill to high, get that thing screaming, and then just take it right out of the smoker and slap it on the grill. So.
Yeah, that'll be great. Tri-tip is, again, I mean, it's up there with skirt steak and...
Oh, yeah, we got some of that at Costco, too.
Did you really?
Oh, man, I'm excited about that. I love that.
You just had a meat fest at Costco, didn't you?
Hit that thing with a marinade for a while and then just sear that and just slice it thin.
Well, let's keep talking about that then. What are you doing? Talk to me.
There's no plans for that. Yeah, it's probably maybe the weekend after next. But yeah, definitely hit that with a marinade. I've done like a chili lime kind of a marinade.
Oh, yes.
On that, and then just sear that high heat, short amount of time, just to get a little crust on the outside, but nice and bloody on the inside still. Get a nice thin slice on it.
Oh, yeah.
Do some tacos or just eat it straight or whatever, man. It's just awesome. Love that stuff.
Yeah, it's really good. In fact, that's one of my go-tos for... I will make street tacos with tri-tip sometimes, but usually I'll hit the skirt or flank. Mm-hmm. And just like you said, I mean, we've done the carne asada show, and... if you guys are interested in the carne asada recipe, hit the website, kineticchaos.com. We did a video on how to cook it, all that kind of stuff, and I believe I used skirt for that.
I think that's right.
Yes, and so it's wonderful for your tacos, that kind of stuff, and it's a depending on where you get it, I have actually cooked skirt steak that I got at Cash and Carry. I'm not kidding you. That skirt was like that long.
They can get monstrous.
Oh, it was huge. It was really good.
Yeah.
But
I got one, I forget if it was Costco or what, a couple years ago, where we had to get like the 2-gallon bag out to marinate because it was folded in thirds. So, but it was, once you unfurled it, it's like that long. Yep. And they had it folded in thirds in the packaging. But yeah, those things can get huge.
Oh, they're huge. Talking about huge, I had one of the most egregious errors in a baseball game I've ever seen, and I kind of didn't lay out all of the story for you beforehand or last night. So Derek had, and this is along the lines of being a baseball dad or just being a parent in the stands and being a respectful adult. It can be difficult at times when you see somebody, an umpire I've never seen in my life, overruled himself. Let me paint
He's changed
a picture.
his mind.
Yes. Yeah. Derek is up to bat, which isn't really important to the story, but he's up to bat, and all of a sudden there's a pass ball. The gentleman the kid that's on third runs for home. He doesn't slide. He runs and hits the plate and slips on the plate, and we all go, "That's why you slide." I mean, it was like the entire stands were like, "That's why you slide when you're coming into home, so you don't slip
and tear a ligament
exactly
or whatever." Yeah.
So, we're all cheering. Derek steps back into the box. All of a sudden, we look out at the pitcher, and there's some commotion going around on the field. Pitcher throws it to the catcher. Catcher tags home, and umpire goes out. Keep in mind, when our player hit the plate, he said safe. Somehow, they appealed this. And the umpire said that this was his explanation. He had to call him safe in the beginning, or when he crossed the plate, for player safety or something. But then they appealed it, which they didn't appeal it correctly. An appeal would be bring the umpire out, tell him what you're going to appeal, and then he can confer with the other umpire. Didn't do that. Just calls him out. And of course, the crowd is absolutely stunned. We have no idea why he's doing this. I have never seen such a huge error on the part of an umpire, and we all were just blown away.
So what's the player safety thing? You're saying that the kid's supposed to slide, and the fact that he didn't slide was a safety issue, so that's why he's called out?
I have no idea why he would call him safe, or why he had to call him safe initially.
Right.
And then changed his mind. He didn't confer with the umpire in the field when he changed his mind. After he called him out, then we were like, what's going on? The other umpire comes in and he says, I didn't see anything. And he probably didn't see anything because he's out by second base.
Yeah,
exactly. So we were dumbfounded.
Wow.
How this could occur. It was, I mean, it was a monumental mistake on the part of that umpire. Never seen, and I understand everyone is human. No one is perfect. We all make mistakes. I get that. It's the fact that this particular umpire and others that are out there, they get so, I don't want to say snobby, but they get like this holier than thou thought process behind their backing up whatever rules it is. If you made a mistake, own it. Apologize, whatever it might be. But that was a glaring mistake. And I mean, so yes, we were making some comments from the crowd. Big Daddy Brian, he almost got tossed out. But the umpire from the field had to come in and warn our coach that the crowd could no longer, because what we ended up saying after every hit, throw to a bag, something like that, appeal it. We may have
overdone it
just a hair. Just a little bit. Umpire warns the bench. Says he's going to go get a board member. Okay, good for you.
Yeah,
you're going to get a board member. You made a huge mistake, and you're not willing to make amends for it. But that's the way it is. So I will say that I was quite proud of myself. I did not say too many things that he could hear. That because I know I rail on baseball dad and all that kind of stuff, but like I said, Derek didn't have anything to really do at the plate. But how does that happen? I mean, really, how does that stuff happen? So I don't know. You ever seen anything like that? I mean, even in all your years of baseball, have you seen an umpire overrule themselves?
Something comes to mind that it was a while back ago, but it's kind of like where they're too quick on the trigger. Like they'll start to go safe and then they'll ring them up or something like that at a bang bang play at first, but not so far after the fact where he makes a call then 30 seconds later changes his mind or something like that.
Well, this is a guy that was full tilt, like strikeouts. He's doing the all of that good stuff. He's drawing the bow. The whole works. I'm like, bro, this is 50-70 Little League baseball. Let's have a little bit of perspective on the game that you are umpiring here, okay? We're not in the major leagues. We're not in college. We're not even in Babe Ruth. There's no reason to be out there like, what's our favorite umpire? The old guy, Cowboy.
Oh, Joe West.
Joe West.
Cowboy Joe West.
Yeah. You love Cowboy Joe West.
Man.
He's your favorite.
I'll tell you the guy that I miss is Jim Joyce. He retired. The guy is, you can hear him like, oh man, that dude was so loud. It was awesome. Love that guy.
Let's talk baseball for just a minute here. How are your Cardinals doing?
Boy,
my Yankees are dead.
Really inconsistent. And it sums it up with a doubleheader they played yesterday. But it seems like in the last couple weeks, it's feast or famine. One game, they'll score 1 run. The next game, they'll score 14. And literally, that's what happened last week. They had a game, they scored 1, came back the next night, scored 14. Come back the next night, they get shut out, and then they go for 8 more the next night. And so it happened again. They played a doubleheader yesterday because of the rain out. In game 1, they scored, I think, 2 runs. And then in the nightcap, they scored 10. And it's like, it's been happening so often. Now, it's... Like I said, it's feast or famine. I don't know what the deal is.
Now, how are they doing in the NL Central?
Not well. 4th place last I knew. They were, for a time, what was it, a month ago maybe? They had the best record in baseball.
Really?
And then that's when the inconsistency started happening, when they ended up, losing every other game. As a matter of fact, I think they lost 4 series in a row now, I believe. So they're having a rough stretch. And the hitting is inconsistent, although the bigger problem is the pitching. Their pitching is giving up way too much.
Really?
So they're having pitching issues. I would say that's their bigger issue right now.
So let's look at what the NL Central stats are. Bronx.
I think we got Cubs first, Pirates second, Brewers third. No, it's not the Reds.
Nope.
Brewers second, and then Pirates, and then and then Reds are terrible. So.
You guys are 25 and 24.
Yeah, terrible.
Well, let's switch over to my Yankees.
Yeah, see a lot better.
Even though the Yankees are all dead, we have 11 players on the DL.
And now Stanton had himself a little setback, I read, where they had to shut him down because he hurt himself during rehab.
That's not hard to believe. Giancarlo likes to collect money and sit on the bench.
Yeah,
he's good at it. Yankees are still 32-17, though. I am not mad. They are tops in the AL East. More importantly than the Yankees being in first, the Red Sox are in third.
Too bad they're not in fifth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, I don't think the Blue Jays or Orioles are going to catch them anytime soon.
Not the Orioles, that's for sure.
My boys are 5.5 games.
Let's talk about the Blue Jays while we're there. How cool of a deal is their minor league system? They got Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Yes, and oh my gosh, he's smashing the ball.
And you see who they called up today? Kevin Biggio, Craig Biggio's son.
No kidding.
So now they're going to have Biggio Jr. and Vlad Jr., so to speak, not Biggio Jr., but I mean his son. And then waiting in the wings, I don't know if he's in AA or AAA, is Bo Bichette, Dante Bichette's kid. So they've got 3 major league kids, the kids of former major leaguers in their system, 2 of whom are now going to be on the big league roster, and 1 who's right behind them. So that's a pretty cool deal.
That is very cool. Well, we wish them the best of luck because, 2 old guys like you and me, me and me, we harken back to our days in the 80s when we played with these things. They're called baseball cards.
Oh, yeah.
And we traded them
Yep.
to each other. And I think that's where I began my my life of negotiating. Was I pulled off a trade for a Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck rookie card for, I believe, a Greg Jeffries, and because you remember Greg Jeffries was a rated rookie, Donruss rated rookie. Remember that?
How about a Harold Reynolds card?
Oh, I had all kinds. Well,
Oregon State.
Harold Reynolds' story. My sister was good friends with him. She went to high school with him.
Okay.
And so,
Love HR.
oh yeah,
That dude's awesome.
so when he played for the Mariners and they played the Yankees, my sister lives in New York. He brought her to the game,
Oh, okay.
and she got to go into the dugout and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, they graduated from Corvallis High School.
Oh, cool.
Together, yeah.
Right
So
on.
it was pretty cool. So my sister is, that side of my family knows all kinds of famous people. It's me. I'm the black sheep of the family. They've got all the fancy stuff, and I got you.
Nice.
That being said, you got anything else for us this evening?
I got nothing.
He's got nothing. I got nothing. Good to be back in the saddle, joining you outside in the beautiful sun.
Yes.
We hope everyone has a fantastic Memorial Day weekend. Remember why we have Monday off, because
Yeah.
it's very important. It's not just to grill hot dogs and burgers, because a lot of really good people gave their lives for us, so that we could enjoy what we're doing right now.
Yep, absolutely.
So, tip of the cap to everyone out there for all that hard work. And, I couldn't go do that. Otherwise, I probably would have. But we will see you hopefully Monday night. If everything goes well, we'll be back on the air. Check out our YouTube channel. That's where we broadcast on Monday nights. We go live at the Kinetic Chaos YouTube channel. We broadcast live there. It's our simulcast where Wes is at home, and then I carry around my laptop evidently and try to find a good Wi-Fi signal. So we'll see you on Monday there. Everyone, want to give shout out to Jess Moore. His big fight is next weekend. He is our KCP resident MMA fighter. He is up in British Columbia next Saturday, I believe, for his first fight coming back from his big injury.
Yeah.
So we've been trying to get him on. It's been a little conflict of schedules, but he will be joining us soon, and we'll get an update on how everything's going with him and whatnot. So everyone have a great weekend. We will see you next week. Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us.
Here we go. I just say that for the editing, because then
go.
I know how to end
Then we can chop it.
Yep. I just like to mess with those.
Have a good night, guys.